you've probably heard me say, when you find a composition, see if you can make it better. There we go. Using this tree bang in the middle here. Just trying to separate the background. But I am debating whether to do a pano as well. Let me flick you around and show you why.
Hi, good evening. Welcome to another Forest Frame, Paul Cunningham Photography. So this week we're just going to talk to a guest, and the guest is a woodland photographer, and we have Darren Moorhouse. Darren, thanks for coming on.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Yeah, good.
Good. So Darren, you know why you're here. Going to talk about your trees.
Woodland photography.
So Darren, one of the things I'm going to go over, and just we know about you, of course, because you've been on Landscape Lenscast, and of course, I have spoken to you quite recently, haven't I, on your channel?
Yeah.
So you probably know why I've got him back again just to help me out with the channel.
yeah, all about the woodland.
Yeah, it's all about the woodland. You'll be in a bit of a treat for some of these images we're going to display tonight. So, Darren, I was going to talk to you about your woodland photography and just woodland itself. When did you start getting into woodland photography? I know you cover all aspects of photography. Why woodland?
Woodland for me was during lockdown. I can literally walk from here to my local nature reserve reservoir, and it'll take me about half an hour, 40 minutes to walk there. And there's some cracking woodland there, and a lot of that I've only recently just discovered. I was at that time as well, just getting more and more into my photography. So the two sort of went hand in hand, and getting off the beaten path and just having a nosy round and seeing what there were. That's
quite interesting, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just where it all started. Yeah.
There's a lot of people I've spoken to and have said when they've got into woodland, it's all come from COVID. So a few people said that, and that was kind of including myself, because I started doing woodland photography about 2018-19, but I didn't have the confidence to carry it through, and then COVID happened. So what was it about COVID that made you go out to woodlands? I mean, everyone says because of the walks and things. Was it you? Were you the same? Was it just the walks during the time we got out for?
Well, I've always been an outdoorsy person. Before COVID, I was playing a lot of golf. And then COVID hit. All the golf courses closed. You couldn't go play golf. So basically, right, I need something to do. I can't just sit about and do nothing. And so I'm off for a walk. So the first time I walked over to Ogden was without the camera. And as I'm looking round, there was hardly anyone there. It was just the sounds of the birds, the trees rustling. And I'm thinking, there's a character there. That's a right character there. Next time I come here, I'm going to have to bring my camera.
Was anything before that going to woodland, I understand that it's like kind of alien to most of us when we're doing landscape photography, because as you mentioned, there are characters and trees, and the shape of the trees motivate us to take the shot. And it can be quite complex to shot to set up. But once we figure it out, we get there and we kind of really polish up our kind of movements and how we compose the image, etc. But is there anything before that encouraged you to go into woodlands? Is it like, watching other photographers? Or
I think it started from lone trees.
Okay, so kind of like that single lone tree shot.
The iconic single lone tree shot. Getting that right. How can I expand on this now? Yeah, and that's where the adventures into the woodland sort of take place. You go from one tree to two to three to an abundance.
That's a good point. That's the thing where, like myself, I was kind of encouraged with YouTube, with watching all the woodland photographers, especially Simon Baxter.
Yeah.
That's quite good that you actually kind of originated from your style of photography with taking shots of like lone trees out in the field, no pun intended. But you're taking shots of lone trees, and then, as you said 1, 2, or 3, and as you're walking around in COVID, during the times of COVID, you're discovering that more and more about the woodland, and you're looking more and more into the woodland, and you're thinking, So in that case, you've not actually been encouraged by any other photographer, or
not
even
really,
just on social media?
No, once I started looking for these, then obviously I went onto YouTube, started looking at Simon Baxter, Mally Davis, people like that, about the woodland as such. But before that, it was just lone trees. It was mainly down to COVID. That's the big reason for woodland.
Good story, because that's something that's quite unique in a way that when you talk to a lot of women photographers, I noticed that a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I was encouraged by such and so forth." But for you to do that, that's kind of more organic. You've went out yourself, discovered your own kind of passion. You haven't been influenced or anything by YouTube. So that's really good. You've been doing photography for some time now, I know that. And landscape photography is your forte. You know, that's what you love, which is a part of woodland, let's face it. But no, with regards to going back to trees, what image challenges you when you go out and take a shot? What particular woodland shot challenges you as a photographer? And if so, how do you compose it to rectify that?
Any woodland shot, anything with a lot of trees, I find it a real challenge, but that's what I thrive on. And it's a case of just, I know there's something there, and it's just finding it and having the nous to think, right, I can't work this yet, walk away, then go back and have another look.
Yeah.
But what I try and do, I try and find separation. If I can find a big scene and there's something there with separation or character tree, it's all right taking that image of that one tree surrounded by it, but what else can you put with it to make it stand out or to interlink the two? But you mentioned about difficulty, and I think if everything's just green, if it's a luminous mossy green, then fine, I'm in my element. But if it's just a basic green, the height of summer, if there's no light or anything, then that's when I find it hard, really hard.
Regards to difficult shots in the woodlands, and we all have these challenges, and regardless of our skill level, when you get a challenge in a woodland, and I've seen myself walk away, like I've tried it, I've walked around the composition, and I've went back to it in different seasons to see if it worked, but it doesn't work. But you always get in your head this something about this image I like.
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily work. Do you ever get anything like that at all?
Yes, I think one of the images that I've sent you, is just that.
So it did work in.
Well, I went in winter and there was no leaves. It was just bare, and it didn't look right. You could see up through the background everything, and I thought, right, this will work in leaf or just coming up to the start of autumn. It's where there's a bit of change in the greens. That's when this will work. And I'd had the hernia operation. I went for a walk in the woodland just to get going again. I went to have a look at it and I thought, right, it's nearly there. The next time I come, I'll bring the camera. So a couple of days later, I took the camera. Lo and behold, I got that shot.
And what type of, what's your go-to tree or favourite tree to photograph? I don't know if that's actually a question that's submitted for you, but what do you think?
I don't really have a certain type. I tend to go for characters. I like something with a bit of character to it, or something that's interlinked with others as such.
Yeah.
I don't go for one certain type of tree.
I
go for shapes, more or less.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things is when I shoot trees, I love texture.
Yeah.
I love colour. I think all two things, that's one of the things we all go for, isn't it? But, I mean, I love birch trees, but birch are quite difficult in a way that they're very thin trees. They don't have gnarly, twisted branches or anything like oaks. But I think you're referring to mainly oaks. They're the ones that are mainly just gnarly and
the gnarly.
These are just they are cracking shots. And what I've seen of Darren's shots, guys, and head over to his website. And also, of course, you've probably seen on YouTube. If you haven't, go over now and check out his work.
I think one of the shots I've sent you was only taken yesterday.
Ah, right, okay. So I'm going to have to, you ever know, maybe the first shot?
I don't know what you're going to put up first. So
guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to go over to some of the images that Darren has taken. And there's 3 images I'm going to put up on the screen. So Darren, just tell us more about this image. And love the, you mentioned earlier about the mist, of course. Tell us more about this shot.
This is a place up in the Yorkshire Dales that I've been to quite a lot recently, but not shot. Just because I've been waiting for the right conditions.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of fog out in the UK, haven't we, over the last couple of days?
Yep.
Couldn't get out Boxing Day, because that's my Christmas day with the kids. So yesterday, it was, right, it's 100% fog given all day. I'm going to this location. Did the normal shots that I normally do around there, but this is actually further up. You can just see a bit of limestone covered all over the floor, and the fog rolled in even deeper. So, and these characters at the forefront just absolutely stood out a mile.
It's like a family, isn't it?
It is, and yeah, it's just like mum and dad, the two big ones, little two kids scrobbling underneath mum and dad.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's just like, so that's one of the things I noticed straight away. And that just shows you what if you're seeing what the photographer's taking, you've got the picture, you've got the concept, what's going on. Definitely.
Yeah. And the other thing I did with this, there's a big tree to the right.
Mm-hmm.
I've included that in on the shot as well, where it just gave it a bit too much. But was the shots between the two end trees, I just tried to get that in between and try and keep as much separation as I could.
Yeah.
I know one branch does sort of overlap a little bit, but if you look even further behind that, there's a big twisty gnarly one.
Yeah.
I want you to keep that in as well.
I think the separation is good, but they're kind of forgiving about you were talking about on the left hand side there with the branch coming across the other tree.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think that flows. I think that's not a distraction. I think that flows.
I mean, that's the. I did spend about a good 40 minutes on this, trying to get it right, and and I tried it in colour. I very muted colour, and it was only by accident. I thought, wonder what it's like in black and white.
Yeah.
I thought I'd try it in black and white and just put a hint of blue in, just on not on the highlights, but just on the light, the midtones as such. It's only a slight tint of blue, and it gave it this sort of moody, mystical feel.
Certainly does. And I like how you've vignettated the bottom a little bit there, just to bring your eye in sort of the foreground where it starts.
Yeah, just not a lot, just a little bit.
It works that.
But this was one of them where I knew where I wanted to go. Yeah. And I've taken Steve, not to this part of it, but to this woodland. Steve's been up there. Daz, Big D, I call him, he's always on the videos with me. Daz came with me yesterday to this, and it just blew our minds. How long do you stay for a shoot in the woodland?
Me, it depends the kind of feeling I get for the woodland. I can be there for about a couple of hours more. If I'm walking, doing a walk as well, like woodland photography, or if I've got in mind what I want to shoot. If I've been going to a local woodland, for example, and go to the usual suspects in the woodland, different weather, it's just maybe half an hour, believe it or not. How long are you there for?
We got there at about 5 to 9. We sort of were in this woodland for 9:30.
Right.
We left at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of the shots in that. I gather they missed the last duration of the day.
It lasted all day.
Really? Oh,
all
God,
day.
These guys are spoiled on there.
And it was just a case, we're coming out of the entrance to this woodland. I just said, right, shall we go, while we've got time, shall we go down to the bottom part of this woodland, which we've never been to? And Daz just went, you do know it's nearly 2:30. What? Where's the time gone?
Yeah.
Right, we'll save that for another day. Don't expect to get a shot. Just go and enjoy it and wait while the conditions are right. And just, like I said earlier, just put it in your memory banks ready.
Yeah, it's a good bit of advice, guys. Listen to what Dan says there. For failure, if you go in with preconceptions.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, just go and explore. Just enjoy your walk with the camera. And that's
great image. One to start off perfectly for the next image coming up. So I'm just introducing the second image. Yeah, Darren, just tell us more about it.
This one, I think this now must be 3 years old, 4 years old. This was probably end of August, coming into September time. Again, this is in my local woodland. And this is off the beaten path, well and truly off the beaten path. And I just went there just for a walk. There's slight bit of mist in the background.
Yes, can see that. Yeah.
I am quite high up here in this woodland. And the thing what brought me to this was the cactus tree in the middle with the sidelight just sitting in that green moss.
Yeah.
And the red berries. The red berries were just starting to come out.
That's a small sapling rowan tree, I think it is.
I think so, yeah.
A small sapling rowan tree. There's a few species there, actually. I do love the moss.
Quite a few. And again, I just worked on trying to get as much separation between them trunks as possible.
You did?
And that was it. And then just the mist in the background sort of diffused that and everything just stood out. But this was just a walk with the camera, just going out just to find what was there as such. I have been back here since, and it looks nothing like it.
Was it getting more clear now? Was it more sort of...
because there's no leaves or anything about. It doesn't look anything like this at all.
Yeah, nice. And one of the things, guys, just people watching this video, is separation in the woodland. This image demonstrates is everything really as much as you possibly can. Try to get separation in the woodlands. Now, there's no right or wrong way of doing things in photography. It is subjective, but the art of photography is just trying to get a bit make it more cleaner for the viewer to look at, and this certainly does that. It's, as Darren said, the light hit against the side of the mossy tree there in the middle, and the colour's just the green that comes out there. You've got a couple of mossy trees there I can see, and the pine just kind of guarding that.
Woodland is predominantly pine.
Yeah, it's probably because pine is mainly straight up and down, but pine can be, a bit gnarly as well. Some regards to depending on the light, with the trees try to fight for light.
The top of this woodland as well, there is some lone trees, and they are twisty and gnarly.
Mm.
One or two have recently come down, but I've been up there for a good 6-7 months. So last time we were up there were a couple that had come down, but this was just the greens. The greens were just starting to turn that bit of yellow.
Yes.
And the side light, I think without that side light, this wouldn't work.
Yeah, I think the first thing you go to when you look at this image is certainly the tree with the moss with the light hitting the side of it. The ferns there, you see there as well, the detail in the ferns, the shadows and the undergrowth. So much to this image, it's really, really nice. It's a really cracking image. Yeah. So, Dan, tell us more about this shot.
This was one that I mentioned earlier where I'd been there were no leaves on it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like a fallen tree, but nothing. I went back after the operation, went to have a nosy again at it, and noticed that it was by that time it was all covered in moss, and the leaves were there. I thought, right, but I didn't have my camera with me because I'd just gone for a quick walk to try and get a bit of fitness back. I went a couple of days later. I think it might even be the day after. There was fog given out, and the fog doesn't really reach this part. Because it backs onto a golf course as well. The golf course were full. It was sort of a hazy mist sort of just rolling through.
Yeah.
And again, this will have been end of August, September this year. The greens were just starting to turn that bit of yellow. And with the foliage on the top of the canopy and a bit of light just coming down, it just happened. It was just there. This is actually a pano.
Okay.
This is a 3-shot vertical pano. And the trees at either side do lean like that.
Yeah, it's a lovely shot. And so what I'm getting from this shot, and it's light, this is the first thing that comes to my head here. Of course, it's the light's just amazing. The warm tones and the style of it reminds me of a bit Simon Baxter, the style of it.
All right.
And Simon has got this kind of way of putting like a tree, like a ruined tree in the middle of the forest, whatever, and trying to highlight the focal point where just like everything around it frames the image. And like what Simon does, you've got everything pointing to the actual subject. So if you're on the left-hand side, the pine tree with the branches coming in, pointing to the main subject of the dead tree. And the tree on the right-hand side is framed beautifully as well. The big massive pine tree there, which is kind of beveled a little bit, coming in, almost like it's bending into the picture.
Yeah, the two trees either side, that's how they are. That's not done by lens distortion or anything. Oh. And where that tree's fallen, that is the only open bit of the woodland.
Yeah.
So even though it was overcast, that's the only bit of light where it was coming down.
You can see that because
it was just a magical morning with this.
It was, because like I'm looking at the sky, and you're forgiven with that because there's not much sky there anyway. But what's there of the sky, you can see. I don't know if I'm right. Is that bit of blue there?
Just a touch of blue starting to come through. Yeah.
Hence where the light's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously if that was overcast, then you wouldn't get as much light as that. But it's cracking.
If you walk over that tree and through them little thin spindly ones,
yeah,
you're more or less on the main path that goes around the reservoir. But what can only gather, the years of building the reservoir, they felled all the trees lower down. And they only went up so far.
So there's like young trees there, yeah.
So over the years, all the young trees have resprouted. So the higher up this woodland you get, the thicker the trunks of these trees are.
Yeah.
And you get some weird trees up there, really are. But you mentioned before about finding what I found is a character. This was my character. I did that. I've taken this tree on its own. It doesn't give the same effect as stepping back a bit and try to find something else to bring that character to life.
Yeah, definitely, because of the frame and the natural frame of it. Does it justice? Does the actual dead tree does justice? And if you, as you mentioned, shooting that tree by itself, you won't get that complete picture. And that's certainly what it is. And I can see you've vignetted it there as well, just to bring you into the middle of the picture there. But there's so much to this picture to look at.
Yeah, that sapling you mentioned on the left-hand side.
Yes.
That's actually growing out of the tree.
Yes, it's amazing you see that actually.
It's weird. It really is weird.
Yeah.
But the only reason I discovered this, there's another path about 100 yards behind where I took this image from. And I was just walking along the path, and there were some sort of bird. I can't remember. I don't think it was an owl or something. Just caught the corner behind. I sort of turned and I saw a flash of green. I thought, I wonder what's through there. And I started to go through. I ended up to my knees in a bog, and then got through the bog and came across this scene.
Yeah,
it was just one of them, right? Meant right. I know where this is now. When the conditions are right, I know where to go to. At times, the water's gone over my wellies, and I've chipped up and in my knees. It was that first image. I think I went out in a lot of sheep doodah for most of the day.
Well, yeah, cracking shot. Thank you for sharing these images with us. And I'm sure the viewers will take inspiration to go out with their cameras whenever they get the time after watching this video. Seeing these images certainly inspires me. So, Darren, thanks for these. No, just a couple more questions. We talked about different seasons, didn't we? About shooting trees in different seasons. How does different seasons affect your photography and shooting in the woodland? And if so, what's the most challenging month from all, or time?
The most challenging would be summer with the greens.
That's interesting.
But as you can see there, I sent you a green image, which just as it's starting to turn, then I find that really interesting. But yeah, summer's the hardest for me, and because early sunrises and late sunsets, harsh light. Then I like to get there just to try and get a sunstar coming through the trees.
That's a good positive we turn to, yeah.
That'd be the only thing if I were going to go shooting harsh light. Look for that sunstar coming through the trees, and it adds just that little bit of something. But yeah, I mean, most of my woodland images are taken just in a normal overcast day.
Yeah.
It's like I say, I've only have weekends to go out in, but how often can you plan fog for a weekend? It just doesn't happen.
This is it. I mean, that's the thing that most of us as woodland photographers, when we go out, we plan with the 5 apps, whatever we use, and only 2 of them are consistent. But as Dan said there, it's like, there's more into it. It's not just a case of just rocking up and bring your tripod and your camera and, you may get a good composition over, but you're not getting the full potential of the image. You're not getting the light or anything.
Yeah.
It's perseverance. What advice can you give the novice if they're starting woodland photography in the winter? What subjects or what kind of shots, what kind of lines, etc.? What kind of advice can you give them?
I'd just say look for a character tree for your main interest and separation.
Yeah.
Just work on that separation. And once you get the separation, then everything else will just come naturally to it. And just get out there and just walk with your camera.
Yeah.
And just don't be under pressure to get an image.
Do you feel that people starting with photography, they should just start off just to going out with the camera, forgetting about timings of days or conditions?
Yeah, just go out. If you're going out with wife and kids or walking dog, just go out with your camera and take your telephoto. Take your 70 to 200, and then you can zoom in and cut that sky out.
It's one of the things I've said on this channel as well, guys, and like as Dan has said, he's reiterated what I said, 70 to 200.
Yeah.
Just home into your subject and you can get rid of the sky, avoid distractions, and spec the frame of the image and things.
Yeah, I think that first image.
I
think that first image I put on that was at about 70mm. Was that?
Yeah, I forgot to ask that. Thank you for letting us know there. That is also 70mm, and with regards to the woodland photography itself, and you as a photographer, and what you're doing now, tell us more about your podcast, because I know I've got you on. You've had me on your channel. I want you to tell my viewers what your podcast is, and just take it away.
Yeah, the photo.
Here's your 10 minutes.
It won't be 10 minutes. The Photo Peeps podcast. Obviously, there's a lot of podcasts out there at the minute. They are quite popular with the photographers and this, that, and the other, mainly for the professionals. Well, Photo Peeps, it's all about the amateurs, people that do YouTube and the people that don't do YouTube. Is where did they start in photography? What inspires them? What motivates them to get out? And what their hints and tips that they've been given that inspire them just to carry on and get out. Yeah, that's all Photo Peeps is. It's just about me and you. Yeah, that's it. The non-professional photographers like to go out with the cameras.
And guys, I'll also add to that, Darren's got if you're on Facebook, he's got a group called Photo Peeps. Is it the Photo Peeps Photography Club or community?
Photo Peeps Photography Hub, yeah.
Photography Hub.
Yeah.
So guys, have a look at that, and you'll get to learn more about photography in general and landscape, but also you might get the chance to go onto his channel. Because he wants to talk to people.
Yeah, we invite anybody that wants to come on. We invite people on. We have a guy coming on next Wednesday is the next one out. And we have meetups as well. There's next meetup is the 31st of March.
Photo Peeps Photography Community Hub. And check it out, look it up on Facebook. And also go to Darren's channel. So you go to photography, Photo Peeps, or Photo Peeps, it would be, I think it is. Is it Photo Peeps Photography on YouTube, Darren?
My channel is just Ginger Captures.
Oh, that's your channel, yeah. Well, we just got another plug there. He's got a little plug in there as well. So,
link in the description below.
so not just Darren's channel as well. There's Ginger Captures, of course. That's Darren, just Darren by himself, going out with good Darren, virtually that is, and walking around with his camera and showing you different types of compositions, how he sets up his landscape photography. And there's quite a lot of woodland photography on there as well. Yeah. But I'm going back to Photo Peeps. So the Photo Peeps YouTube channel, is it just Photo Peeps YouTube or
just Photo Peeps?
Just Photo Peeps, okay.
Just Photo Peeps.
There we go, guys. So look out for Photo Peeps, and as Dan said as well, just cut in there with his Ginger Captures, and it is good. I've seen it, of course. Probably know that's why we kind of get each other. If it was someone else I didn't know, I wouldn't have a laughing joke with him, believe me. So Dan's on the Landscape Lenscast. I don't know how many plugs we've done with each other, including myself for a lot of channels. So, Dan, thank you very much for coming on. Dan, I'd like just to say one thing before you go there. With regards to your photography, your work, etc., I know you do workshops. Is that just predominantly in your own area? If people visit your group, Photo Peeps?
Mainly around the Yorkshire area, but parts of the Lake District and parts of the Peak District as well.
Wow.
But it is mainly Yorkshire and Yorkshire area as such.
So, guys, if anyone's coming down or even up, wherever you are in the map, to, Peak District or the Lake District, look up Dan, because he is going to be about, and he does these workshops very, very easy on the photographer as well. He talks in layman's terms. You won't be put off. It doesn't matter what level you're at. Go in a workshop, you invest in your time. That's how I started. I invest in my time in a lot of people. And Darren is another person that you should invest in your time. So I'll look at him as well as I mentioned with Steve as well the last couple of weeks there. So next week, guys, I'll be out on the field, taking some pictures in the woodland again. And I'm just going to try to do a bit of a test. So we'll actually try to do a challenge where I'm going to use this is going to be crazy, Darren. You're going to laugh at this.
Go on.
Yes. So I'm going to be using only 14mm to 24 lens. Super wide lens in the winter time when there's no leaves on the trees, hardly any foliage. And what I'm trying to do is close in shots to the trees, as in bringing my camera very close and try to get that super wide shot of the branches, etc. So that'll be interesting, me trying this.
Well,
so I will put the images up, good or bad. I always promise that in my videos. Next week, it's every second week we're on the channel. So on that, I just want to say thank you again for Darren Moorhouse joining us, Ginger Captures and Photo Peeps. We'll see you in the next one, guys. And between Christmas and New Year now, enjoy your new year. Guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks again for watching. Cheerio, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Goodbye.